Welcome, guys. Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Realtor Hacks, Tips, and Tricks. I'm one of your hosts, Hallie McCrory, EXP Realty agent and Icon agent, also host for Emmy-nominated TV show, The American Dream, here in Dallas, Texas. And I've got my lovely co-host on today, Casey Stiers, also an American Dream TV host in Raleigh, North Carolina. And if you know Casey, you know that she is the downtown guru of Raleigh, North Carolina. All things downtown. Her and her spouse own a bunch of businesses together down there. And then we've also got one of our mentors and good friends on, Haas Pratt. He is a success coach, author of The Listing Boss, which is a book, but also a training platform. He's got a weekly live show and training that he does. Haas is just really probably one of the few people that I listen to actually in the real estate industry. No offense to other people, but this is all I need. All we need is what Haas says. So we're really excited today because he's been doing, or last week he had 2 trainings on the NAR Settlement. So the National Association of Realtors recently settled against home sellers. And we're going to talk more about that and what that's going to look like for us as agents. And, with Haas and being the listing boss, we're going to talk about leveraging listings in a time like this. So welcome, Haas. I think is this your second or third time? I think it's your third time on.
I think so.
Yeah, because I think we had you on when we ran this on Clubhouse originally. And then we've had you on for in this platform in StreamYard, and then this time. So third time's a charm.
Around, by the way.
I don't know. I haven't been using it at all. I kind of got burnt out on it.
I haven't either. I'm like, it was like the jam like a year, 2 years ago, and I'm like,
like COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So we went.
I don't know. I feel like the notifications kind of burnt me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we probably all deleted the app off our phone by now.
Well, I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and I couldn't even remember the name of it. I'll be honest with you. I was
you want to know a funny story, y'all? We brought the Cardones to EXP, and part of that was Clubhouse was a platform that Grant randomly ran into Glenn Sanford one night on Clubhouse, and that was one of the most important meetings that happened in bringing them over to EXP. Like Clubhouse was instrumental in all that. And it was short-lived because we don't even know if it's still around.
Hey, it showed up, and it's going to always leave a paw on our heart or a mark on our
Yeah,
you know what
I'm saying. You can tell we're dog people.
Yeah. I know you love dogs. It's all good.
I try to go on the whole. Some things they stay with you, and some things don't. But they'll leave up on your life.
You know what? I think a lot of people actually, now that I think about it, I think the Cardones did this. I think they transitioned to Twitter Spaces.
Yeah. I think that's what happened. Maybe Twitter Spaces came in there.
Yeah, and he probably has more people on Twitter than Clubhouse. I think also Lisa Copeland connected with Elena through Clubhouse too, or something, right? Or
I think so. There are some serendipitous moments that happen on Clubhouse during that season. And I've never been big on it though, on anything like that. I'm not a big stay up and listen. I'll listen to people, but I'm not a big social media where I'm I need to do more of that. I say that, but I really don't particularly enjoy it. You know what I'm saying, y'all? It's like I tell you, quit listening to everybody. I think what people need to do is listen to people less. I think that, there's so much information out there. I think that one of the biggest problems that we have just as a civilization is there's too much info, and I don't think we need all that info. I think, you don't, for example, all these books behind me, people are like, hey, what's the best book? I'm like, look, I haven't even read all these books. I'm dyslexic. I just buy books that people tell me to buy. But there's less than 5 books that I really would just, that one person could just read 5 books, and that's all you have to read to be successful.
Yeah.
Really, one of those books, How to Win Friends and Influence People, you got to get that in you. You have to know what is in that book. You have to practice it. You have to apply it. You have to be able to win friends and influence people. You have to have the people skills. Think and Grow Rich would be another one. You got to have the mindset, universal truths that are taught in that book. Like those two books have made more millionaires than any other book. So like what's better? Read those books or read, 50 other ones. I say read those books 5 times each, just reread it and then apply it to get it in you. But like, we just have too much info, man. Like it's analysis paralysis. It's like same thing of the things that we're going to talk about today.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. There's so much misinformation about this case out there right now. Like even coming from like big political figures, and like the Today Show, Good Morning America, I'm like, these are top journalists and apparently doing their research. And I'm like,
scary.
Where are you getting your research from? Because this is, there's just, it blows my mind. There was one lady who said, I think her name was Vicky Wynn, and she's a journalist for the Today Show. And she was like talking about how there's so little competition in the real estate landscape and how there's absolutely no room to negotiate commissions. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, literally, we joke in this industry about how everybody and their mother knows at least 25 real estate agents each. And like, so there's tons of competition. And if you are negotiating with someone who doesn't come down to what you want for commissions, then it's easy to go to someone else. And that, that goes into explaining your value and whatnot. But I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? Like, that is so not true. And anybody in the real estate industry, not even in the industry, like everybody knows that, everyone knows a lot of real estate agents. Like, so I don't know. I'm with you. And there's
to add to that. This is the thing. I want to talk about this today, but this happened yesterday. I was at an event with my wife and my girls. All my girls actually were there. It was a National Charity League. My wife's the president of the National Charity League. So we had this event. And I don't really know much about it. I'll be honest with you. Like, I was so impressed with my wife. She got up there on stage and crushed it, like gave a speech. I was like, hey, I didn't know you did all this, And like this lady comes up to me and she goes, hey, Oz. I go, hi. And I didn't know who she was, but she knew me. And she goes, what do you think about this NAR ruling? How does that affect real estate? And it totally caught me off guard. Like, in the sense that I was getting asked something, because I don't get asked these things in public, right? Like, like most of the time if something happens in the industry, people don't know about it, right? But like we are at a time now where let's take this NAR ruling where now we're going to get asked about it in public.
Yeah.
And so it was like this epiphany I just had yesterday, because I think in terms of helping people. So I always think in terms of solutions. I think in terms of you guys and our clients and agents, like they are all going to get asked about this NAR ruling, just like I was yesterday. And how you answer it is so important. And I don't necessarily know how to answer it today. We're going to uncover it, but we have to know how to articulate and answer that, because the consumer, it's on the consumer's mind. And rarely have we been in a time where we're asked about something that's in the consumer's mind.
Yeah.
And so here's what that's going to do. It's going to create opportunity for all of our listeners that are in real estate. There's nothing but opportunity on the other side of this. I'm a marketer by heart. I love to, because oftentimes, I'm trying to think of unique ways to solve problems or communicate a message. And that's usually best done through marketing, a marketing program, a marketing message, but marketing. And so, it's just interesting, and it's so exciting. Obviously we're going to talk about this stuff today, but like there's just a lot of emotion, a lot of conversation happening, and I think just as an industry, hopefully the people listening today, you get it almost right. Like, what I told her. Here's what I told her. I said, yeah, I didn't really know how to answer it, but here's the first thing that came out of my mouth is I said, it'll be all right. Those buyers agents deserve their commission. And she paused and she goes, they do, don't they? I go, they work harder than anybody. I was a listing agent when I sold real estate. Like, they were working on the weekends when I was on the lake, right? They were the ones showing the buyer 70 houses, not me. Like I went on one appointment. Okay. Like these buyer's agents are going to get paid. And why? Because they deserve to be paid. And here's why. I believe this. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'll pass it back to you. I'll let you guys take it. But I get fired up about this stuff because there's principles that apply as an entrepreneur and a rule. And one of those things that you have to understand is you are paid based on the value you bring to the marketplace. And that does not change under any ruling. In my opinion, like I'm tried and true entrepreneur, right? Self-employed. I believe in every fiber of my being. I have goosebumps all over my body right now. That's how I know it's true, right? I believe when I'm saying that you are paid based on the value you bring to the marketplace.
Yes.
And so you can't have a free enterprise system, the system that we have, at least in America, where you try to take away it's what you would pay somebody that brings the value. That's not how this works.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you call it what you want, but it's going to be a wash. The money is going to come from someplace. The buyer's agent's going to get paid what they get paid. Why? Because in most cases, they deserve it. It is worth paying that buyer's agent that. And so that's what I would tell everybody that's listening. We're not going to have, I'm not going to come here and know every single answer, okay, of what it all looks like. But I know that. I know that you're going to get paid based on the value you bring in the marketplace. So focus on bringing the value. And if you continue to bring value, then you're going to get paid. And we don't have anything to worry about.
Yes. So if you don't know, if you're listening to this and don't know what we're talking about, so the National Association of Realtors was sued by a home seller. Basically, they said that NAR, I don't want to use the word colluded, but they think that the National Association of Realtors sets prices or sets what the standard commission should be, which is, in my opinion, not true at all. And I don't know where it came from. I think it's just always 6%, and not everybody charges 6% by any means. I know people who charge 10, 9, 8, and then there's discount brokerages going 5, 4, 3, but I guess people kind of think of 6% as the standard. I think that's just kind of how it's been for a long time. But regardless of that, basically the NAR settled for this, and it still has to be approved by a judge. But if it goes through in July, there's going to be 2 new changes in business practices for real estate agents. So one, basically every MLS under the National Association of Realtors is going to be prohibiting offers of compensation on the actual MLS. So right now, as a real estate agent, you can go look at a listing on the MLS and see what you'll be paid as a buyer's agent. It'll say 3% BAC percent, buyer's agent commission percent. That's not going to be on there anymore. And that doesn't mean that compensation can't be offered. It just means that it has to be communicated off of the MLS and through negotiation and consultation with real estate professionals and their clients. So number 2, the NAR said that they are creating a new rule that is going to require MLS participants, so realtors, working with buyers, that they have to enter into a written representation agreement with their buyers before a buyer tours a home, which a lot of people already practice this in some way, shape, or form. A lot of people will just do one showing to establish a relationship with their client and then say, hey, you need to get pre-approved. We've got to sign a buyer's representation agreement. But now that's going to be required, assuming the judge approves of this, from July going on. Am I missing anything?
Great.
That's what I understand from it.
That's it.
Okay.
So you can't pay the 3. You can't put in how much you're going to pay in the MLS, and then you got to have a buyer sign a buyer's rep agreement. I'm not a lawyer, but that's the 2 things, and to me that's nothing. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm it just is going to be more communication, which is fine. That's a skill that we have to have anyways. And honestly, I think more transparency and communication can only result in better transactions and less lawsuits. So
and these are conversations as you're going into listing appointments too, to have with your clients. I mean, do you want to sell your house? Okay, well, that buyer's agent's going to want to be paid. They're not working for free, but we just have to be strategic on how we say it. Kind of
And on that note, I think it's going to be a lot more communication and I guess synergy between a buyer's agent and a listing agent, because listing agents, while you're representing two people on different sides, that communication and synergy really matters to keep a deal together, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's going to be a lot of listing agents vouching for buyer's agents being compensated as well, because why would you not want all these little, I don't know, not minions, but like a whole army of people going out and marketing your listing for you? Like, why wouldn't you want that? I think that's worth it. Beyond, also the buyer's agent, controlling expectations and guiding their buyer in the right direction and saying, we can't ask for every single repair. I mean, not that I shouldn't say that. A real estate agent doesn't say that, but say, we might get more here. We might get more here if we only ask for these repairs and not like the, little cosmetic things, or, I think there's value to that guidance as well. But anyways, regardless of that, I wanted to bring the listing boss on today, because at the end of the day, I think the best position to be in through all of this is to be a listing agent.
Listing
yes.
boss. That's right. Did listing boss, but here's the thing about listing. You're exactly right. Like, your listing agents are gonna fight for the buyer's agents. Like, why? Because we need to pay a commission to these, to the agents. So like there is it's that, to me, I don't want to say nothing changes, but there's going to be commission paid both sides. And I think that's an important thing. I think, as a buyer's agent, you're going to have to call the listing agent before you show the house, right? Mm-hmm. To establish, what it is. And it's what you said. That's always a good thing. Yeah. Like if you can establish a line of communication before you even show the house to the listing agent, this is a good thing. But who it's a bad thing for are the buyers out there, because the buyers are going to be the ones that suffer. The consumers are going to be the ones that suffer because it's just another thing, that buyers don't have usually the commission to pay, and how it works. Let's say they didn't pay a commission, and I don't know the whole colluding. I don't believe that any of that, but how it works is, like, let's say the buyers, when they would buy a house, the seller would pay the commission. Well, when the seller buys their next house, they're not paying before they didn't have to pay the commission to the buyer, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's almost a wash. But now here we are at a time where we got to figure it out, and it will be figured out in the marketplace, but we have to figure it out. And the whole cutting out the buyer's agent thing, if anything, y'all, it's going to be annoying in the industry to deal with this. I knew that yesterday when the lady came up. I was already annoyed in this sense, like, oh gosh,
you're like a gnat.
Yeah, like really, like this is like the devaluing of what we do in the industry of like we're gonna have this, but even that conversation is going to be good for the industry, right? Yeah. And so here's my advice to everybody: like, just step up, be better, better. Like, you guys are some of the best agents, in the world. I mean, for real. Like, I've worked with thousands of agents. You guys are amazing. And I know, like, Casey from another world, like, of real estate. And then I know you from a world of real estate. I still don't know how the hell you all came together and met and did, and now you do a show together.
North Carolina connection.
Is that what it is in North Carolina? Because you're from.
Yes. We asked her about her name. What is it? That stage we went to in New York?
We were at 10X Ladies when we met. And
that's how y'all met, was 10X Ladies?
Yes, and she saw my last name. I was still Beeler at the time, and she was like, "Do you know Christy Beeler?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my mom."
Really?
So one of Casey's best friends is friends with my mom, so that's how we figured it out.
It was like my friend Tori. She's good friends with your mom, and
It was meant to be.
Tori Winstead. I was like, yeah.
And dealer is not like a super, normal name, right? I mean, yeah.
And it was funny because Lisa convinced me to go to this conference, and I was like, I'm not going to know anybody. And I went, and then I made friends that I still stay in connection with. So now we got this.
Yeah.
Years.
I've even done seminars in Raleigh, Hallie, with Casey.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I didn't think I could do that either. And he gave me 2 weeks to put it together?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you did great. It was fun.
We ended up having 55 people?
Yeah.
55, 60 people show up. And
I did a little tour. I went into Raleigh, then flew to Greenville, and it was late. And then Charlotte. I flew to Charlotte and then drove to Greenville.
Mm-hmm.
I got in at 1 a.m. and then I haven't eaten because I don't eat gluten. So I had to go eat at this bar that was the only bar open in Greenville. Is that North Carolina or South Carolina?
South Carolina.
There's Greenville in both.
Yeah, you were in South Carolina.
I was in South Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting at this bar eating, so tired, and I gotta get up early in the morning to go speak in the morning at this seminar. And there's this dude sitting next to me, and he's all dressed up, and he's on the phone. I could tell he's in sales. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, man, I run a sales team for Spectrum. I'm like, you know what you should do? He goes, what? I said, you need to get into real estate. And he looks at me with the craziest look, and he goes, man, it's funny you say that. He goes, I woke up this morning and the first thought was I need to get into real estate.
That is so weird.
But it's not weird, okay?
Right, yeah.
It's not weird. People need to understand how things work, right? That's, to us, we understand that whole logic of the law of attraction, the manifestation. And we have to be able to see those things and say, because that's where I know that for me, that's where I get used. I believe God uses me and works through me. Who's the guy that he can go sit next to the guy at 1 a.m. at a bar to go get him into real estate? It would be me. And I said, you should do? You should come to my seminar in the morning. And I invite him to my seminar, and he shows up, and that dude's getting into real estate. The chance.
I love that.
Maybe I went to North Carolina for that guy, Casey. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
You don't know. Who knows? But that's one of my funny stories that I came out of that whole trip with. That was a great trip.
Hey, you said if you got one person, you've done something.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? If we change one person, the trip will be worth it.
I mean, think about it. Go to 10X, Hallie. We wouldn't have this.
I know. So. Crazy.
Yes.
You know why? Here's the thing. Everything you want is on the other side of an investment in yourself.
Yeah.
It truly is. Magic happens on the other side of an investment in yourself, an investment in whether it be a coach, whether it be an event, and then an investment in your time. Magic happens on the other, when you invest in yourself, magic happens on the other side of that investment. That's why you always invest, hire the coach, go to the seminar. Why? Because the universe needs you to invest in yourself so it knows who's serious.
Yeah.
If you ain't willing to invest in yourself and go for it, then you can't handle what is in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? You can't.
100%.
And I've just had so many experiences of where I've seen this happen for other people, but where it happened to me. I'll give you one other example. I had to write a check in myself, old HP here, for $100,000. And it was a lot of money. It was to hire a digital marketing company, and they were going to turn me into the next Grant Cardone. Right. That was at the time what I wanted to do. I wanted to break out of real estate, get into all sales. I wanted a podcast, and this was the company to hire. And it was a company that I got on the phone with them. This is a funny story. I get on the phone with them, and I said, hey, they said, we can help you. And I'm like, well, 100 grand's a lot of money. Can I talk to some? And I did this, what I don't normally do, where I need to talk to somebody that you're already working with. Because I don't like it when people do that to me. I'm like, I think it's annoying.
Yeah.
You not heard
but
of
100 grand. I mean,
100 grand. I'm like, I need to talk to somebody. Right.
Yeah.
That was my threshold. And they said, who you need to talk to? I go, who? They said, you need to talk to Lisa Copeland in Texas. And I go, who's Lisa Copeland? And they're like, you're going to love her. And that's how I met Lisa. And
I didn't
the
know that.
yes. And so I call her up and I say, hey, Lisa, my name's Haas Pratt, thinking about hiring this company. And we just hit it off, obviously. Like as soon as I met her, I was like, this lady's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I remember thinking she was like, I'm like, this is like a female version of me. Like, she sounds like me. I'm like, I told my wife that when I got off the phone. I'm like, Lisa was amazing. And so, needless to say, I wrote the check for $100,000. That's how I also met Tarek El Moussa. Was from that. He worked at that company and he endorsed Listing Boss. So I got on an airplane and I flew to California to shoot video with Tarek all day. Like today, they are all in business with us, right? I mean, we all work together and that wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have met Lisa. I wouldn't have met Tarek. Y'all wouldn't have known each other if I did not write a check for $100,000. Think about it. Literally.
This podcast wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't be. Yeah, we wouldn't be here right now. Like, that's amazing.
That's so crazy. But it's so true. I feel like anytime I do invest like that, there's always like some sort of, like crazy thing that happens or like some crazy like connection I make in my head. It's so true.
Here's the thing. We think $100,000 is a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Like, man, that's a lot of money, right? Here's the reality. There ain't no security in that $100,000. That $100,000 ain't nothing, right? That's how you have to think about it because it's truly. When we sit back and we look at what I just said and we look at the connections, $100,000 is nothing for that magic to happen, right? And so what people do is they have to have security. And so the security of the $100,000, and so we have to release the security of these things in life, y'all. There is no security in $100,000. So like, there's no security in $50,000 and $10,000 and $1,000. Like, so that mindset is important. And I think, because when you get to that point, that's where you get to magic making moments, man. That's like where the serendipitous moments have happened, like on Clubhouse, and you see all these things because we are able to operate by different rules now. And I think that this mindset is what I'm talking about is the same thing with this NAR stuff.
Yeah.
If you're hanging on to security of the old ways and the security of how things are, then you're going to be disappointed. Like
just in life too. That's not what life is. There's always change.
Always.
Yeah. I mean,
we just got to embrace it and learn whatever rules they're going to throw out at us and keep on
that's
going.
The thing about the book I wrote, coming from teacher turned realtor. I mean, it's just kind of, two different worlds and being able to roll with the change and not knowing was the big thing. Not knowing where my next check was coming from, kind of thing.
Right.
You know what teachers need to know, though? I talked to a teacher this week, Casey, and I thought of you. I thought about your book. And teachers are passionate. Good teachers are passionate. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Like, I talked to my mentor, his daughter, who's amazing, just quit teaching. And he goes, she quit teaching. And I already knew why she quit teaching. In my mind, I already knew why. Why? Because teaching sucks now. Why? Because a great teacher can't be great in the system that we're in.
And I think that's with this whole NRA thing, all these realtors are panicking. I'm like, if you think this is bad, go into teaching and see what they throw at you.
Terrible. Like, so all those good teachers out there feel this way. Like, this sucks because like I can't do what I even want to do and what I have a heart to do. And so that heart is what applies to it translates to being an amazing agent. And they need to know that. Like, more teachers, you can use this clip and tell them that. Like, the best realtors that I've ever worked with are teachers. They were teachers. And the reason is because of the heart that they have. Yes, I know you're amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have a heart.
I think the heart, but then also like being able to have like you already know they have the patience for education as well. And so much of real estate is education.
Yeah. And patience.
Patience, drive.
Patience,
they're going to have a schedule. They're going to be schedule oriented. They're going to have commitment, all the things. So,
but what holds them back is the security and a $50,000 salary.
Yeah. They've already dedicated their time basically volunteering for the last.
No security and a $50,000 salary.
Yeah.
The only security is that you get out of that and get into being self-employed, folks.
Right.
Like, y'all, how long have y'all been self-employed? Like,
that's what I was getting ready to say. I've been
5 years.
9.5. I'm going on 10 years. It's crazy.
Oh, I'm like, what am I, 42? I'm 42. I've been self-employed since I was 15.
Yeah.
I had a guy tell me one time when I was mowing grass, I had a lawn service when I was a teenager. I was making 6 figures as a teenager mowing grass. And he pulls up at the gas station. And as I fill up my mowers, he goes, Hoss Pratt, still mowing grass, huh? I go, yep, still am, Terry. He goes, when are you going to go get a real job? Like right
Sit
there.
behind a desk and make less. Yeah,
right there, job. I was ruined. I thought to myself, the logic, I didn't understand that. And I was like, looked at him, and my next thought was, I'm never going to go get a real job. I'm unemployable. Like,
yeah.
And that there's so much in that conversation right there, right? Fast forward 10 years, the guy's trying to get me to hire him. He wants to work with me. I'm like, and so anyway,
yeah,
that's
Terry.
That's why we get Terry. Exactly. We already know what Terry's like.
Right.
You know how you know how hard it is to be Terry and go through life and the criticism and the judgment that he has to do to defend his thinking. Do you understand that?
Yeah. Yep.
Like
yeah.
You have to constantly judge people. You got to constantly criticize people. Like, I need everybody to hear this. If you're walking around criticizing and judging people, this is on you. Mm-hmm. This is the story you're telling yourself. Like, but now that story, you find yourself walking around life criticizing and judging people.
Like, and while you're doing that, the person next to you is growing and getting stronger and stronger.
So. Yeah, and you criticize that person, and you try to hold them back. You try to protect your own self. You tell them, oh, that won't work. Why are you doing that? Why don't you go do this? You know who does this more than anybody? Parents do this to their kids. Mm-hmm. Parents hold their children back more than anybody. Makes me sick. Parents. Why? Because the parent never did this. The parent never went for it. So they try to protect their kids. They don't even know their kids.
My parents. Oh, sorry. Well, it's funny. Like, even my parents are both entrepreneurs and have their own businesses. And even me, they were like, when I wanted to leave corporate and get into real estate, they were like, what? Like, no, you cannot leave your benefits. You cannot leave your stable pay. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that you do it. How is that any different? And of course, I get into real estate and like do well. And they're like, oh, we're so happy. I'm like, did y'all forget that? And I'm sorry if they listen to this.
They need to hear it.
But I know. I'm like this. I'm like, I make way more than I ever did in corporate. And I work more hours, but that's by my own choice. Yes. You know, like it's all about what I want and what I want to put into it. It's not
Hallie, like they were wrong. They need to hear it.
I know. I'm not a slave to someone else. I mean,
we can't do that to our kids, y'all. We got to set our kids free. Yep. And like, you know who begged me? I remember when I moved to Texas. And I was like, I wouldn't be here today if I listened to my dad. You know, my dad was the #1 supporter in getting me to move back.
Yeah.
Begged me to move back. Like, that would have been the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. And so we love our parents and our parents love us. And it comes from love. And we know that. But like, you're wrong, parents. And like, I had a conversation with the kid, a parent the other day, because I coach a lot. And a lot of times people ask me advice on their kids. And I went down the list, you know, a trade. Like, you know, if you don't know what like, it makes no sense if somebody doesn't know what they want to do when they get older to go to college. It makes no sense to go in debt and waste money if you don't know what you're going to do. Okay. Mm-hmm. But you do need to leave the nest, your parents' nest. And so I'm actually a bigger fan of going to the military, going to a trade school, because especially these young kids, they need to be like I'll speak for the boys. They need to be turned into men. And like, they really do. And like, they need to go become men, and like, they need to go into an environment that they can do that and to become their own version of who they are going to be.
Yes.
So I'm a fan of that. Like the Navy, the Air Force, getting kids out there and like, so they can go figure it out. That's why I love the
learn
Mormon
like skills
too.
That they're good at.
You know, I love about the Mormon church, for all you Mormons, you know, the LDS, what they do is they send their kids out for 2 years after high school to go knock doors, selling the hardest thing there is to sell, which is religion.
Yeah.
In a city or country that's like, and they can't even hardly talk to them for 2 years. Like, I think they can call home like once every 6 months or something. And they come back and they're different people. And that's why, like, a lot of them become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that, you could do anything. And so, whatever it is, whether it be going to the military, becoming LDS, whatever is in your cards, like, you got to get your kids and people you love in an environment to grow. And that's why I love real estate, because it's an environment for people to grow and to become their best version of themselves.
Yeah. And I mean, even like tying that into the NAR settlement, I think it's going to weed out a lot of people that are just in real estate to, like, part-time patties, making an extra buck. Like, it's hard. It requires communication. It requires a lot of preparation. It's not for the faint of heart. So I think it's going to be good for us in the fact of weeding out, people that don't want to use these skills or don't feel like they have to get, just another commission check. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more agents drop out due to
Are y'all getting out?
Hell no.
are you
listings this week? I just need to move. That's what I need. So yeah.
Good agents are not going to quit. The ones that quit, I'm not even saying that the people that quit are not good. Like, real estate's hard. It really is. And that's why I do what I do, to help people, like there's so much bad information in real estate. Like, the reason I'm a coach and trainer was because when I was in real estate, I got in real estate at 21, 22 years old. Like, to me, all the training was bad. I didn't like the training, and I thought I could do it better after I learned it. I'm like, I could do that training thing better. And but here's why I do it. It's so the agent stands a chance to succeed, because the industry has a revolving door and they don't have time to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Like y'all know this, you go to real estate school, you get your license, you learn all the things, the fee simple and chattel, the words we don't use in the real world. But now when you get your license, now what do you got to learn? All different stuff. The marketplace demands you to understand sales and marketing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they don't teach that in real estate school.
Nope.
No.
No.
And you don't got time. You have a few months, because let's say you're good. And let's say you get a deal the first day you get licensed, which I don't know if that's ever happened, but let's say it has. And let's say the first day you get licensed, you get a contract. I mean, it probably won't close for 30 days.
Right? Yeah.
So best case scenario, you're 30 days from getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
There's always
or I guess best case scenario, 2 weeks with a cash offer.
Which is like hitting a lottery. That's unheard of.
Yeah, right.
It's always like the first, over the years, I've seen somebody where there would be their first transaction, they sold like a $3 million house. And I'm like, oh, and they would tell me what their commission would be. And I would just be like, oh no, you're ruined. Like, you're ruined, because it'll never, and that they're always chasing that $3 million commission when the grand slam instead of hitting the singles and doubles.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Like, we got to hit singles and doubles in this industry. And let's switch it back to NAR, because I know that's why we're here. But nothing much is going to change. The people that are good, like you guys and the agents that, they're going to be good. The agents that get out of the business are probably the agents that didn't do much business anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
2 deals a year and minimum.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure there's still a lot more. There's going to be a lot of change if this does for sure go through. Like, right now, the VA says that a VA buyer cannot pay their own commission. So what are they going to do? Go unrepresented, the people who deserve representation the most? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm sure that's going to change. I don't know, just little, there's going to have to be a lot of, or even like Zillow, like when you pay for leads through Zillow or realtor.com, I feel like that's going to have to change somehow. But I do think that a lot of buyers are going to have to set themselves up like listing agents, in the fact of having good buyer presentations and having multiple packages to choose from. Like, I know you do this, Haas, where you have, different tiers of services that you offer as a listing agent, or this is what you coach on now. Like, you could pay, well, I mean, I'm just going to throw out numbers, but like you can, yeah. Well, do you want to talk about how you coach on like tiered listing offerings?
Yeah. So and it's always done through a program. All right. Let me just I'll give you some, just a brain dump on this. So the best way to communicate this is through a program that's branded. So, and I teach this in Listing Boss. It's called the Strategic Home Buying Program. The Strategic Home Buying Program is a 7-step process to help you find the home of your dreams. Okay. So now we have something to talk about. Here's the thing I want everybody to listen. You got to make things up to talk about. When I say make it up, give it a name. The strategic home buying system is much more interesting than nothing. Mm-hmm. The strategic home buying system that you say that will find you the perfect home and find other homes, not just on the MLS, and save you thousands, is way more interesting than just the average agent. That's where you're going to have to change as a buyer's agent. You're going to have a system that communicates what you do, which is the value in you, which, by the way, here's the value that you need to double down on: negotiating value. By being an expert negotiator, you need to be like that. That's valuable. If you're good at negotiating, then you minimize what a buyer would pay in commission. Right. It's that. So everybody needs to be a master negotiator. If you're not a master negotiator, then you need to start acting like you are and call yourself one and act as if, because that's where the value comes from, is the deal. Crafting the offer is another thing where, in a season, here's the value in a buyer's agent. Yeah. And I'm telling you all this because this is how, not just you guys, but everybody, this is the value you got to communicate to the market. Is it when you write an offer, let's say in today's market, how many typical offers are you competing against? Several, right? Would you guys say? Several. We have been for years. And so it's an art to craft an offer the right way to get it accepted. Just because you find a perfect home, that's the easy part. Getting the home is this is where the skill comes in. This is where they need you to be. They need you to be able to write and craft an offer that gets accepted. Mm-hmm. So and to be able to negotiate the best numbers and terms for this contract. So you as a buyer's agent need to communicate this to the buyer of how you are the best in the world at helping them find the perfect home that they're looking for. And here's how I do this. We don't just look for homes on the MLS, Mr. Buyer. We have off-market properties. We have other services, and we will go work and find you the perfect home. For example, if you want to live in Glen Hollow subdivision, we will reach out to every seller in that neighborhood and help find somebody that's interested in selling. Yes. We go above and beyond in helping you find the home, because the MLS alone, here's the thing I want you to think, y'all. The MLS is just the easy thing for all of us. But I look at the MLS like this. By the time a home hits an MLS, you've already missed it anyway. And what do I mean by that? How many people, by the time a home hits the market and it's for sale in the MLS, those sellers have already went through God knows how long that they've been thinking about this, right? Right. What life seasons have they gone through to get to a point where they're now the for sale signs in the front yard? A lot. They've struggled with it because now their neighbors know. Now they're committed. Mm-hmm. There's all these emotions and things that this person's going through. And so here's what I want you guys to know as agents. You want to go find those people before they get to that point. Mm-hmm. And so this is what so right now in this neighborhood, out of 100 homes, there is, a percentage of these people that are going through this right now. I'll give you an example. This weekend on my street, garage sale. Garage sales are always a dead giveaway for somebody going through this, right? They're decluttering, they're getting rid of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a dead giveaway. When somebody's doing a garage sale, like they're doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I always love testing this theory. And so when there's a garage sale in my neighborhood, my girls will go to the garage sale and I'll start asking questions. Oh, are you thinking about moving? They're always moving. Yeah, we're moving to North Carolina. That's what this lady said, 2 houses down. The sign's not in their front yard yet, right? But they already committed to moving. They're decluttering. That's what I'm talking about. You want to find those people in that season so you can facilitate the relationships and facilitate the transition. And like, if you know that and think that way, you can find opportunity and then you don't have to deal with the same things that everybody deals with. It creates a blue ocean for you. Like, if I could tell that person I have several buyers that are wanting to move to this property, and like I could facilitate a transaction right here. And that's what agents are, I mean, all great agents should do that, but that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
Creative and unique, create unique solutions.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's funny you say that, because I don't love Facebook, but I think it's such a good tool for real estate. And I haven't been doing it lately, but I need to pick it up again. But I had when I was on Facebook a lot more than I was now, I would go through and look at Marketplace or like look at the Facebook groups and stuff and see, like, put tags on for when people were posting garage sales. And I'd always message them like, hey, are you thinking about moving? Because I always thought that was a dead giveaway too.
Was it for you? Did you learn that? Like,
yeah. It's definitely a good tool to do.
I mean, at least half of them, would you say? Maybe?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so like I always walk in Texas, we have alleys, we have like these rear entries, right? So like when I go on walks around the neighborhood, I'm walking my dog Oliver, we're alley walkers. We'll walk down the alley. You know why? Because like I like looking for people stacking stuff in an alley. Why? Because it tells me who's moving.
Yeah.
You see
that's the best hack of this whole video right now.
Walk the alleys.
Walk the alley.
Walk the alleys and look for people having garage sales.
One of my listings I'm going to have coming up as soon as I find them a home was Rocky. And it was funny because he always barks at their dog and their dog always barks at him. So we never really got to communicate. And over the barking dogs, he said, I heard you're the go-to agent in the building. We need to chat. And I was like, let's do it without the dogs.
Yeah,
right. On the brunch, and now they're a buyer and a seller with me. So
love it.
So
love it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, y'all, is through all this too. It's like that relationships, are facilitating, and the relationships will always be the answer. Like in real estate, it will always be done with human beings, because people are not going to buy a home I would never buy a piece of real estate in Raleigh, North Carolina. You with me? Like, I would have to talk to Casey first. Why? Because I trust her. And like, I would buy a house sight unseen if I could talk and say, is this the right area? Is this the right location? Like, is this the right neighborhood? Like, but the time I sign, I'm going to want Casey, somebody I trust, to give me permission to sign. And I'll do a lot of work before I get to that point, Casey. But I'm talking about when it comes down to getting my commitment, I'm going to need you to give me permission to do it. And like, will always be the case in real estate. That's why we will always have to have a human. And so all of us need to be the human that people trust, be the expert, know our craft, know what we do, and grow and invest in ourselves, both time and money, to become better, and like expand your network, think global, not local. All of these things are all things that everybody needs to be doing right now. Getting creative in your marketing, but like protecting your mindset to where you're not listening to everybody, and like you follow and you like lean on the truths, like the truth of you're paid on the value you bring to the marketplace. Like eliminating fear completely from your being. Because like there's a ton of fear out there. And like fear, I don't know if y'all know it, but lowers your frequency. Okay.
Yep.
That pushes you down to a lower frequency. And like this is the time to increase your frequency.
Yep.
And so as the industry's frequency is being lowered, be the one who can increase yours and rise above it. And like you're gonna dominate, because there's a lot of blood in the water out there in that fear world. I mean, just go read the comments of all of the different things.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of like seasoned agents who have been in the industry for a while are saying like, this is the best time right now to be just pouring into yourself and pouring into your business, because this is what's going to set you up and to be one of the greats in like, 2 to 3 years from now.
Yes.
So if you're in it for the long game, like this is when you need to start really digging in deep here.
And hey, I want to put it out there too. If anybody feels like they need help, like that's what I do. I help real estate agents dominate their market. So just get in touch with me. I have so many solutions. I'll give you, I'll help you in every way that I possibly can. But like, don't sit there and struggle alone.
Yes.
Like reach out. I will help you.
Yep.
And however, my name's Pratt, so like it's easy to find.
Literally, yes. Yeah.
I
love
and he does help. He answers the phone no matter where, even when you're having a crisis. And
yeah, and I've that's even been true for people that I've brought, onto my team with Empower Real Estate Group, like Katie Fales, for example. She's always like getting guidance from you. I mean, for me as well, but I just love how you've really helped her with like for sale by owners and stuff. It's been great.
Yeah, and Ashton.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Love it.
She moved to Colorado, and I remember like helping her think through facilitating moving. Like,
yes. Oh, yeah. Addison Ocker. Yes.
Yeah, Addison. Yeah. And like, why? Because she needed my permission to move.
Yeah.
Like you're moving to Dallas. I don't know if it's because of me, but I'm telling you, like, move. Yeah, like I'm moving to San Antonio, Bernie. Right? I'm getting ready to move. Actually, I'm getting my keys on Monday.
Oh, yay. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, good. Yeah. And even I think I saw, that's for sure. I saw the National Association of Realtors. If you do want to stick with being a buyer's agent, or, just want to have that more knowledge around it, I saw that they are offering the accredited buyer's representation, ABR designation, at no cost through the end of this year. So I don't know, might pick up on some continuing education hours for free from NAR, which we don't really get anything for free from them, I'll say. So take advantage of that for sure.
I'm not going to
or just become a listing agent, we'll say.
You do have to become a listing agent. That's the thing, right? But that's always been the case in the industry. I've been in real estate 20 years. I've never worked a buyer in my life, but I had teams that did, but I never showed buyers because it was told to me from day one, list to last.
Yes.
Like it was told for me day one that you got to control your inventory. You got to take listings. So like, it's always been the case. That will always be the case too. So like, absolutely become more of a listing boss.
Yes.
Okay. And a buyer boss too. Okay. Because you're going to have to be both.
Yeah. I mean, even I'm primarily listings, but I will always help my good friends and family out with buying, or if I'm doing a buyer's, I'll have showing agents and whatnot. There's always ways you can work it, but just never hurts to have further knowledge and skills, and be able to understand both sides to the fullest degree, because that's only helping your clients and developing your skills. So, and we love our skills.
Here's a universal script I want everybody to hear. Like the universal script right now is, if there was a buyer that wanted to purchase your home, would you consider selling? If there was a buyer that wanted to purchase your home, would you consider selling? No, I'm not selling. Okay, so if there was a buyer that wanted to purchase your home, even for a healthy offer, you wouldn't sell? Well, I mean, maybe I guess if the offer made sense. Why? You have a buyer? Yeah, we have hundreds of buyers. The problem is we have more buyers than we have homes to sell them. So I'm looking for listings. I'm curious. Can I come by Thursday at 7:30, put my eyeballs on the home, run some numbers, sit down with you and Shirley and show you what this thing would look like? Like, the one thing you have control over is going to find the listings. And so how do you find listings? Is you ask people, if there was a buyer that wanted to purchase your home, would you consider selling? Now, here's why I said this. Because you can't be conflicted. So I wouldn't say if I had a buyer. Why? Because you may not have a buyer. And you can't, if you don't have a buyer, then you're going to, that's going to come across. Like they're going to feel that. So if there was a buyer that wanted to purchase your home, would you consider selling? And you can call so many different niches with that. That's your job, is to go find those people, to go find the people that want to sell. And the riches are in the niches, like being able to, like, absentee owners, FSBOs, expireds, the divorce niche people are successful with, the probate niche, being able to find it, go ask that question to is what would be my advice. Because a good percentage of those people would sell. And that's how you find those people that are in that season, the season of considering selling.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
That's a serendipitous phone call. They're like, man, it's funny you are calling me right now. I was just talking to my wife at dinner. Yep.
Funny how it works out like that.
Yeah. You see, you find yourself.
It's not weird.
1 in the morning, like, yeah, exactly.
That's our new hashtag. It's not weird.
It's not weird. I need to manifest my listings.
Yes.
Yep. And we'll get those buyers agents paid for it.
That's right.
You know how you go get, what you do is you set the intention. So the intention, I took 30 listings in 30 days one time, few months, several months. But like, people ask me, how did you do that? I said, because I woke up in the morning, I said, who's got my listing today? Every day the intention was to take a listing. If I didn't take a listing today, I would probably take 2 tomorrow. Like, the numbers over 30 days worked out. And that's only Monday through Friday. That's not working Saturday and Sunday. As a listing agent, you can have normal hours, and so it's setting the intention, and it's knowing what it is that you want. Most people don't even know what they want. So if you get nothing out of today, like, think about what it is that you want, like truly what you want. You don't have to have it figured out on how it's going to happen, but know what you want in your mind. Like, and if it's make $500,000 and that's what you want, you don't have to go figure out how you're going to go do it and have control over all of how it's going to work. But you need to obsess over the 500K, and you need to be able to see it, and you need to go apply massive action to get it. And like, that would be my advice. And if you do that, it doesn't matter what NAR does, what the what the feds do, what the idiots do. Like, you will always be successful in everything that you do.
Straight up. I love it. That was a good little closing out for us. So thank you, Haas, for coming on. Again, if you guys want to work with Haas, we've got his handle. We've had his handle scrolling at the bottom. I'll put it back there, at Haas Pratt. He's Haas Pratt on Facebook. You can look up The Listing Boss by Haas Pratt. DM us and we can get you in contact with him. But yeah, great team over here. Don't worry about this, guys. It's just another season of change. Change is always going to come, and we're gonna absolutely opportunity for growth. So if you guys like this episode, please follow us on Apple and Spotify podcasts or YouTube. Tap that bell and subscribe to our pages. And please, if you liked this episode, leave us a review. Even if you didn't, leave us a review and let us know what we can do to make it better. Realtor Hacks, Tips, and Tricks podcast. That's another episode, guys. We will see you next Monday, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, guys. I'm Hallie Beeler McCrory, Hallie B. McCrory on Instagram, Casey Stiers, CB Stiers on Instagram, and Haas Pratt, the listing boss. He's Haas Pratt on Instagram. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next episode.
Have a great week.